Hey, I'm back with the shy. Season 8, episode 1. Coldest winter ever. And this show started out real cold. Like, I don't like this. I don't like because with the shy, it always had me two ways. Sad and upset. Sad and upset. And this episode definitely had me sad and upset. Okay. But it starts with we start with Sha and Vic. And at the end of the last episode, season 7, last episode, they got caught up and then they end up getting caught and then they had to go to prison for Alicia and all this stuff. And when I tell you it was some bull crap that was in this damn episode that was fucking going on, I was like, fuck. Okay. So we start with Shy and Victor, and they both in jail. And of course, I feel bad. I feel bad because I already know how it's gonna go. And Jake is home alone. It's so sad, right? And then Bakari is with, which we already expected. We already knew that. And Papa is putting on a cold, beautiful suit, black, preparing for a funeral. And I'm gonna tell y'all, the funeral that he was preparing for, it was Pastor Zeke, right? It was Pastor Zeke. And if you want to know who popped past the Zeke, you already know. If you're thinking it was what's the boy name? If you thinking it was Nuk, it definitely was Nuk. And I'm like, he gets on my good goddamn nerves, always talking about people be disrespecting him. And that was his reason for saying that he killed the man because he said he was disrespecting him. He said he knew too much too. I'm like, boy, shut your ass up. Because your day's number, Reginald, Taylor, Reg, his day's number, all that damn day's number, both of them especially. Okay. And then we get to Keisha, and she is with baby Jada, because remember, she named the baby that she had last season with Emmett, Jada. And she is with baby Jada. And I am really feeling for my girl heavy. I mean, it's very heavy for her because she got a whole lot going on in her house. When I say a whole lot going on in her house, she got to take care of all the kids running around. And that's what Emmett said. He wanted all his kids to be at the house, which is ain't no problem with that. But the thing about it, Emmett, you have to think about stress and everything that you put on Keisha. But Keisha said that she can handle it and all that stuff. But her saying that she can handle it, come on now. Her saying that she can handle it is always a thing of. I mean, she's just gonna be tired, and I know she's gonna be tired. Emmy got a bunch of kids. Emmy got six, seven, 8. It's a bunch of them. Okay, he had plenty of baby mamas. Okay, and then it's a whole bunch of kids, right? And then Emmy, he counts one because he is a huge kid. When I tell you he a huge kid, he a huge kid. Anyhow, we get to Reg, and Reg is getting it in with Candace. If y'all remember Candace, she was from last season. Okay. And it's somebody's girl that he snatched it, and he snatched it, and he like to do stuff like that. I don't know. He get a thrill of attacking girlfriends and women. Okay. Mhm. And then we get to Tiffany, and she is with baby Rob. And she is looking at a picture of Rob, his father, Alicia, and Q. Q. hmm And Duda on a live Q, right? And y'all have to go back to, I don't know what season it was, but y'all have to go back to a few seasons. I can go back and I can look and see. But Tiffany is with Baby Rob. And then let me tell you who else up in there. Nook. And her and Nook, they getting real, real chummy and real, real close and all this stuff. And I'm like, the nerve. He up in there cooking breakfast and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's not your house, nigga. I mean, that's the whole thing I was saying when I was thinking. I'm like, nigga, please. Okay. Anyhow, and Emmett is upset at his father, Darnell. Remember Darnell? And Emmett feels he is overstaying his welcome, and he pretty much ready for him to go home. hmm But of course, Darnell misses Jada, so that's why it's hard for him to go home. And Darnell's woman is there as well with him, and she keep asking, "Well, when you gonna go home? When you gonna go home?" Because she says she's tired of sneaking around and all that. And I mean, he's just not trying to face reality. Jada has passed and went on. However, Emmett is worried about not being able to get it in no more with Keisha, right? And then due to it being so many people in the house, and Keisha said, "Well, we can just make an appointment. We can just make an appointment." She said they can just make an appointment and sneak away. They probably can sneak away in a car and just do a whole bunch of different stuff. I'm like, come on, Emmett. Be a grown person. Be a grown man, not a grown damn child. But moreover, Keisha understands who his father is and what his father is going through. Emmett needs to grow up. Grow up, Emmett. Okay. All right. And we get back to Rashad and Vic. No contact with Nora for Shad. And she changed her phone number and everything. It's like she just earthed and then she just number, which was so it's just so out of the ordinary because they was titty tight last season, and then she promised that she wouldn't leave him and she would stick by his side. But I mean, I want to know what the change up is. Okay, so that's all messed up. I feel bad for Shad. Okay, and Shad is Jason Weaver, and Vic is Luke James. Just want y'all to know the characters. Okay. And we get back to Jake and Lene and Bakari, and they all sitting down. And my boy Jake is so pitiful right now. And Lene says, "Well, you can stay over here with us." But Bakari, it's like he don't really want to, but I don't know. And then it's like, remember when both Bakari and Jade didn't see it for each other seasons ago, and they was about to tear each other and bite each other's heads off, right? And I'm glad that this turned around because I always said that they are the same people. They are the same people. They are just alike. And it's like they fighting with each other, and they are the same. Okay. So I'm glad to see that friendship. Okay. And Papa in there too. And Jake has been spending the night, right? He ain't been going to his house, he been spending the night. And he has his own house, right? And then it was okay, so let me just say this. He had his own apartment, right? And then Reg came and fucked it up, right? And then back to that, he ended up staying with Vic, which is his brother, Luke James. And he ended up staying with him. And then that's where Jake is staying now that Bakar, I mean, what's the nigga's name? Reg messed up his apartment. Like he always do. He always take over every goddamn thing. He really do. All right. And then I mean, of course, Jake said that he good. He good. And the passing Pastor Zeke is very, very tough. It's tough for a lot of people, right? All right. And we get to Charles and Zuri. And they are getting back together because Charles used to date Zuri. I don't know if y'all remember Zuri from last season. Okay. and Damien is in rehab. So Zuri was Damien's girl that he was, Karuchi train. And she had a part on this show. And Zuri is Damien's girlfriend, which I mean his little side piece or whatever. She had addiction issues. She was addicted to sex. I believe that's what she was addicted to. Pitiful, pitiful, pitiful. And Damien just was all fucked up. And Damien is Emmett's brother. Okay. And we get to anyhow, Damien is in rehab. And Zuri was pretty much saying that, well, me and Damien, it didn't work out. It didn't work out. I said, oh Lord, she addicted for real, for real, for real. And we get to Rashad's lawyer, which is Shad. I just called his full name. We get to Rashad's lawyer, and she goes to get information for Shad. And then she is really trying to figure out what happened to Nora. Because Nora is the person that was supposed to be, you know, his witness or whatever. She was supposed to be testifying for him to, say that he didn't do nothing to Alicia and all that stuff out of nowhere. Then she just fell off the face of the earth. So she trying to get information for him. And I'm like, please. And then we get to Reg and Candace, and they get into it about the pills. It was some pills that she said that he has to go. And the pills came from it was pills and hold on, y'all. Because it was pills that he was selling. And then he was getting pills from Keith's girl, which is what's his name? Keith's girl. And Keith and Reg supposed to be friends and stuff like that. And you know how Reg is. And then Keith don't trust him, and I don't blame Keith for not trusting him. Okay. I don't blame him for not trusting him. Okay, and these notes are so out of order, y'all, but y'all gonna get the whole point because I thought I had everything in order, but what happened is when I was about to leave to go out of town, then I accidentally went coffee on my notes, so I got all of it out of my mind what I remember. But the pills that Candace gave Reg, they actually are working together. And Candace is Keith's girlfriend, and Keith said that he do not want her getting involved. And then Candace said, "Well, I mean, I gotta pay bills and stuff because my mom is on disability, and I gotta pay the bills and all that stuff." But Candace, baby, you a nurse, okay? So you just girl, I mean, that ain't no damn excuse. And then Keith already know what's up, and he know how Reg is. You know how Reg, he pretty much will come in and he'll steal his girl at any minute. And I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen. It just didn't happen in this episode. Okay. So we get back to Bakari and Lene, and they get into it, and he tells her that he unalived Pastor Zeke too. He talking about a Nook, and he telling her the Nook unalived Pastor Zeke too. And she says that he needs to stay away from Nook because he is bad, bad news. And she told him that last episode for last season, the last episode, the episode before that, 3 episodes, and she had been telling him that he needs to stay away from Nook. But it's for whatever reason he can't stay away from that nigga. Okay. And then we get back to Papa and Kenya, and they talk about the passing of Zeke. And Kenya is Pastor Zeke's daughter. And Kenya and Papa, they had got, close and all this stuff. And they supposed to be dating and all that stuff because they saying that they love each other and stuff like that. And they just comfort. I think it's just a comfort thing because Papa lost his dad, Pastor Stanley, right? And then Kenya, she lost her father, Pastor Zeke. And it's just a lot of, but I really think that they like each other. I really, really think that they like each other. And I don't think that it's just a thing of, comforting each other. And all this. I think they really like each other. Okay. So we get back to Reg and Vic. and he says that he wants to see if he can, cause old girl Candace, she put Reg ass out because she said she don't want to be involved in that bullshit, and he gonna have to get the hell up out of her house. And when Reg don't have nowhere to go, every time that Reg don't have nowhere to go, then he always run back to his family. He always needs something. He always needs something. And then he asked Vic, and he came to see Vic, and he asked him could he stay with him at his apartment. He said, "Hell no." And then he asked, could he stay with Jake first? And he said, hell no, because if he stay with Jake, then Jake is at Victor's house. And he told him instantly, hell no, you cannot. He said, hell no. Okay. But if you know Reg and if you've been following the Shy these last 2, 3 seasons, ever since Reg came back, if you tell him no, that don't mean nothing. He's still gonna do it, and he gonna do it 10 times worse. Okay, so we get to Javante, and he has a black eye, and Javante is Emmett's son, and Emmett's baby mom, she brought Javante to him and said that he needed to be with his daddy because Javante is getting into trouble. Okay. And he went ahead and said that he can stay with him and all that. And it's both Keisha and Emmett, they both, say go upstairs because Javante getting into trouble and getting into fights and stuff. And he had a black eye. And then Emmett was pretty much telling him, well, listen, I mean, the thing is, you can't be doing this, you can't be doing that. And he was just being very, very stern with him, right? And then he told him that, I mean, go to your room. You got to go to your room and you're gonna have to show some respect and stuff like that. And then we get back to Darnell and Riley. And that is Tasha Mack, Wendy Raquel Robinson's character. And her name is Riley. And like I said, she said that she wants him to go back to his home while he accidentally calls her Jada. And I'm like, wait a minute now. Anyhow, next. And then we get back to Reg. And Reg doesn't care. He broke in Jake's house. Of course, he was. And mind you, call Vic called Jake and told him to get the strap. And then he did. And he making plans to once again take over. And he said he was gonna take over too. That's what Red said, he finna take over. And we get back to Bakari. And Bakari is having his book signing, which he already told Lene about the book signing. And then Lene said, well, you didn't promote it. You didn't promote it at all. So, I mean, how you expect to be, making sales and sales and stuff like that, like you won't. And she said, you got to promote it. And he just pretty much was not listening to Lene. Okay. And he ain't thinking. Okay. But anyway, we get back to Papa, and Papa and Tiff, they talk, right? And he tells her that Nuck took out Pastor Zeke. Then Papa asks, does she trust him? Does she trust Nuck? And when I tell you, it took Tiffany a long time to say yes. And she had the doe eyes and stuff like that. It just took her a long time to say yes. Uh-huh. And it's like she knows that she does not trust him, like for real. But he didn't make it. He didn't make it thanks to none other than Nook. Okay. And then we get to Charles, right? And Charles was the one, which is Rotimi's character. And he was playing Pastor Charles, and he was working with, Pastor Zeke. And he didn't really care for Pastor Zeke. But I mean, because he always seems sneaky. And Pastor Zeke is sneaky. And then Rotimi's character, which is Charles, he's sneaky too, right? And he just I don't trust him. I don't trust him. And he was sitting up there saying, well, Charles, he was saying Zeke. Pastor Zeke, he was a good God fearing man and shit like that. And then Kenya is crying, of course. And I feel so bad for Kenya. But Papa had a conversation with Kenya's mother and says And she says that she knows who killed her husband. And Papa is questioning Nook. And she said it was Nook. And she said, I mean, Papa is questioning Nook and he wants answers. And it's like, please be careful, Papa. Please, 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 because Nook is a devil. Then he killed so many people, baby. You have to be careful. And then we get back to Nook. And he is cooking with his shirt off, of course, for Tiffany for breakfast. And I had already said that. And it's like too much. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But Keisha had a baby with him. Then Emmett is dropping off baby EJ, and he is clearly uncomfortable with Tiff. And then Tiffany's mom don't like him neither. Anyhow, next that should tell you something, girl. You just saying that you just need somebody to take care of you. You just need somebody to make you feel whole and stuff like that. But he is not it. And it's like a thing of as soon as she find out that Nook killed her child's father, I want to know how she gonna handle it. I want to know how she gonna feel. I want to know what she gonna do. I want to know what she gonna do. But we get to Keith, and this is who I was talking about, who is Jackie Long. And Reg then is, and then Keith's girl is Jordan, of course. And that's where the pills came from. I told you my notes was a little bit out of order, but we already know that she in business with um she's in business with Reg, and then Keith didn't know. And of course Keith is not comfortable with it. And he said that I mean, he can give her money, he can give her what she need, but she just pretty much was saying that, you know, she just need money. And then the pills, of course, are expired, correct? Because she's been giving him expired pills. She's been giving him expired pills, right? And then, anyhow, next we have a new person, a new face, and his name is Rafi. And he is very, very disrespectful, and definitely to my girl Lene, who is working in Tiffany's spot, Tiffany's place, right? And then Lene looked over at Nug in disgust while Tiff is in his lap, honey. And then business is being handled. And you know how them ninjas be getting, outside and all this stuff and getting annoyed and stuff like that. But my guy, Lene is sweet. And she want her man out of the streets. Seriously, she do. Bakari checked him saying, that is my woman. And then Lene stepped up and she says, do not come at me like that. Moreover, Lene can step up for herself because you remember who her brother was. Her brother was for the streets. So we get to Lene and Bakari, and they're in the car. And the car is, of course, leased. And he said he got an advance from Nook. And I'm like, he just cannot stop being under Nook to save his life. And that's why I said I feel for him. And I think he got to be careful. I think Papa got to be careful. I think all of the people, I think everybody got to be careful as long as Nook is in the streets, right? And then he wasn't listening to Lene, and that was about that book deal and stuff like that. And he didn't care. And then we get to Emmett, and he watching Soul Food, the series, and it reminds him of him and Tiff, and she is moving. And Emmett tells Keisha that he does not trust Nook. Then Keisha says that he needs to learn to just drop it and allow Tiffany to be happy and move on. Okay. Along with his father, Darnell. And I get it too. Nook cannot be trusted. And everybody know Nook can't be trusted. Well, we get back to Bakari and Nook, and they are discussing Pastor Zeke. And Bakari says it's wrong what happened to him. And he finds out that Nook is behind it, right? And he tells Bakari that he knew too much. I already told y'all what he said. Then Rafi, I think it's Rafi pops up saying he doesn't like Lene being around. And then he was saying some choice words. He was being so disrespectful. Then, ooh, we accusing Bakari of talking too much to Lene. And Rafi does. I mean, it's just a thing. Bakari told him that he talked too damn much, right? He do. He talked too fucking much. He running his goddamn mouth. And it's just out of true fashion. I mean, Bakari showed him, he was piping up and stuff, and Bakari had to show him his strap. And when he showed him his strap, then it's like when he said, "Don't make me kill you, nigga. Don't make me kill you." And then Rafi says that I ain't running. I shoot back. Then Nuck tells Rafi, "Nah, it ain't gonna happen like that, my boy. It ain't going down like that." Anyhow, next we get to Emmett and his son Devontae, and he was going to be staying. Of course, he gonna be staying with them. I already said that, and he get into some trouble. I already said that too. And we get to Rashad and his lawyer, Patience, and that's his lawyer's name. And he hitting on his lawyer now. And then that's when she tells him that Nora was supposed to give a statement to help him, but she gave a statement to the police saying that he was not with her that night, and pretty much excusing him from being with her, and she wasn't gonna cover for him, and said pretty much out on his own. And I'm like, this bold bitch. I'm like, listen. And then let me tell you this: when we get to Vic's lawyer, and it's like all the footage of him and Vic and Shy being at the hospital when Alicia went to the hospital. Then it ain't no footage at the hospital, nothing at all. So all the footage is wiped out. And then that's when Vic's lawyer was saying he just told him that it ain't no footage. And then his lawyer gonna tell him to pin pin everything on Rashad. And Vic said that he not gonna do it. He said he is not gonna do it. And I'm like, that's right. Lawyers are so grimy. Anyhow, we get to Rafi, honey, trying to meet up with Reg. And see, that's why I ain't like him. That's why I don't trust him at all. Because see, on he gonna turn on Nook because Nook ain't gonna let him disrespect Jake, right? That's good, but I still don't trust Nook. You just can't trust nobody. I don't trust Nook. I don't trust Wifey. I don't trust nobody. That's on the side that can F people up. I don't like them. I don't like him. So we get back to Bakari, and Bakari goes to see Shad in prison, right? And then he took him a copy of his book, and then Shy says that he needs to let go of Nook. And then he says, then he does. I mean, he said does he care if he lives or does he care if he dies? And then mm, Bakari said he don't even know. And I said, wow, 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 wow. He said he don't know. And if y'all know what line that came from, y'all put it in the comments and tell me what line that came from. Cause I know what line it came from because I watch that movie all the time. And what he said, he asked him, do he care if he live or if he die? Okay. Anyhow, next, then we get back to Darnell, and he watching Claudine with James Earl Jones. Y'all may know about that movie, y'all may not. And it was loud, and he wakes up, Emmett, and then they both reminisce about how they both were thinking about Jada, and then how she comes to visit them in their dreams. And then she comes to visit them in the dreams and all that. And then they just can't, it's just so sad. And it was like a bonding moment. And they both could, just share that. And it's so sad. I cried myself when Jada died last season. Because I'm like, no. I know she said that she had cancer. And then it's like her cancer left. And then her cancer came back. And then the last we get to Jake. And Jake comes home, right? And keep in mind, Reg did break in his house. And Jake comes home. And while Reg is there having a party, like he was in season two, he was having a party, a pool party, and all this stuff with the naked women and all this stuff in there. And then Jake pulls out his strap, instructed like he instructed by Vic. And then as soon as he pulled out the strap, why Jake's not Jake, but why Reg boys pointed the pow at Jake. I said, shit. See, that's what I be talking about. But I'm telling you, Bakari, this what's gonna have to happen. This only thing that I see that can happen that will help. They all gonna have to come together and they're gonna have to take out Reg first because he is not a good person. He not a good person. They're gonna have to all come together and they're gonna have to take him out. And if you think that Jake ain't gonna do it, he may not do it. But I can tell you who will. And I know for a fact Victor ain't gonna want to do it, but he will put him down if it comes to protecting Jake. If you get what I'm saying. Anyhow, that was the shy, y'all. And again, that was the shy season 8, episode 1, coldest winter ever. I enjoyed reviewing this show. So please, please, please like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.